Do you want to successfully complete the D685 Objective Assessment exam? Then you are in the right place. Our website provides a list of questions and answers for your success in the D685 OA exam for free. We understand that acing your OA exam can be quite challenging. That's why we provide completely free exam guides and practice questions for you. In this video, we will cover questions from prompt engineering, AI bias, data privacy, AI ethics and data quality. So, let's get started. 1. You're developing a customer service chatbot that keeps providing overly broad responses. Which prompt engineering strategy would most effectively guide the AI to deliver more targeted and relevant answers to customer inquiries? A. Add more training data. B. Include specific output constraints. C. Increase model parameters. D. Use reinforcement learning. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Include specific output constraints. Explanation. Option B is correct because output constraints in prompts define clear parameters and formatting requirements, directly addressing the issue of overly broad responses by guiding AI focus. Option A is incorrect because adding more training data addresses model knowledge gaps, but doesn't solve the problem of unfocused responses to specific queries. Option C is incorrect because increasing model parameters enhances capability, but doesn't provide the specific guidance needed for targeted customer service responses. Option D is incorrect because reinforcement learning requires extensive feedback cycles and doesn't directly address the immediate need for focused, prompt responses. Alright, let's break down the core concept behind this question about chatbot responses. When an AI chatbot provides overly broad responses, it's like having a conversation with someone who gives you an encyclopedia when you asked for a specific recipe. The problem isn't that the AI lacks knowledge, it actually has too much and doesn't know how to focus. This is where prompt engineering becomes crucial. Among the options presented, adding output constraints is the most effective solution because constraints act like guardrails that channel the AI's responses. Think of it like a river. Without banks, water spreads everywhere, but with defined boundaries, it flows powerfully in the right direction. Output constraints in prompts specify exactly what format, length, and scope we want, transforming vague responses into targeted, useful answers. This is fundamentally different from adding more training data or increasing parameters, which would be like making the river bigger when what we really need is better direction. 2. A marketing team notices their AI-generated content consistently favors certain demographic representations over others. What type of bias is most likely present in the AI system they are using? A. Measurement bias. B. Selection bias. C. Confirmation bias. D. Algorithmic bias. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Selection bias. Explanation. Option B is correct because selection bias occurs when training data isn't representative of all groups, causing AI to favor certain demographics in its generated content outputs. Option A is incorrect because measurement bias involves errors in how data is collected or recorded, not the demographic representation in generated content. Option C is incorrect because confirmation bias reinforces existing beliefs rather than creating systematic demographic preferences in content generation outputs. Option D is incorrect because algorithmic bias stems from the algorithm's design rather than the non-representative training data, causing demographic favoritism. To really understand why selection bias is the correct choice here, let's dive into how AI systems learn from data. When a marketing team's AI consistently favors certain demographics, we're seeing a classic case of selection bias in action. Imagine training a chef by only showing them Italian recipes. They'd become excellent at pasta, but wouldn't know how to make sushi or tacos. Selection bias occurs when the training data doesn't represent all groups equally. If an AI is trained mostly on data from one demographic group, it naturally becomes better at creating content for that group. This is different from measurement bias, which would be like having a broken scale that measures ingredients wrong, or algorithmic bias, which would be like having a flawed recipe itself. The key insight is that selection bias is about what examples the AI learned from, not how it processes them. To fix this, teams need to ensure their training data includes diverse representations from all target demographics, giving the AI a complete picture of their audience. 3. When implementing chain-of-thought prompting for a complex financial analysis task, what is the primary benefit this technique provides over standard zero-shot prompting approaches? A. Faster response generation. B. Step-by-step reasoning clarity. C. Reduced token usage. D. Simplified prompt structure. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Step-by-step reasoning clarity. Explanation. Option B is correct because chain-of-thought prompting encourages the model to show its reasoning process explicitly, improving accuracy and transparency in complex analytical tasks. Option A is incorrect because chain-of-thought typically requires more processing time as the model works through each reasoning step systematically. Option C is incorrect because chain-of-thought actually increases token usage due to the detailed explanation of each reasoning step. Option D is incorrect because chain-of-thought prompts are more complex, requiring specific instructions for the model to explain its reasoning. This question highlights a critical distinction between different prompting techniques. Chain-of-thought prompting is like asking someone to show their work on a math problem instead of just giving the answer. When we're dealing with complex financial analysis, we need transparency and accuracy, and that's exactly what chain-of-thought delivers. Think of it as the difference between a GPS that just says, turn left, versus one that explains, turn left at the bank because the highway entrance is closed ahead. The chain-of-thought approach makes the AI articulate each step of its reasoning process. This step-by-step clarity is especially valuable in financial contexts, where stakeholders need to understand not just the conclusion, but how we arrived there. While this method actually takes more time and uses more tokens than zero-shot prompting, the trade-off is worth it, because we gain insight into the logic behind the analysis. It's like having a financial analyst walk you through their spreadsheet, rather than just showing you the final number. 4. Your company wants to analyze employee performance reviews while ensuring privacy compliance. Which AI application approach best balances analytical insights with ethical data handling requirements? A. Full data anonymization. B. Aggregated pattern analysis. C. Individual performance tracking. D. Real-time monitoring systems. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Aggregated pattern analysis. Explanation. Option B is correct because aggregated pattern analysis identifies trends across groups without exposing individual data, providing valuable insights while maintaining employee privacy protection. Option A is incorrect because full anonymization might remove contextual information necessary for meaningful performance insights and trend identification. Option C is incorrect because individual tracking raises significant privacy concerns and may violate data protection regulations and employee trust. Option D is incorrect because real-time monitoring systems create privacy risks and don't necessarily provide better analytical insights than aggregated approaches. Let's explore the delicate balance between data analysis and privacy protection in employee performance reviews. This question touches on a crucial ethical consideration in AI implementation. Aggregated pattern analysis is the golden middle path here. Think of it like analysing traffic patterns in a city. You can understand that Main Street gets congested at 5 p.m. without tracking individual cars. When we aggregate data, we look at trends across groups rather than individuals. This approach reveals valuable insights like teams with regular feedback sessions perform 20% better, without exposing that John from accounting struggled last quarter. It's fundamentally different from full anonymization, which might strip away so much context that the data becomes useless, or individual tracking, which violates privacy. The beauty of aggregated analysis is that it maintains the analytical power while respecting employee privacy. Companies can identify systemic issues, successful practices, and areas for improvement without compromising individual confidentiality. 5. A developer receives inconsistent outputs when using the same prompt multiple times with an AI model. Which advanced technique would best ensure more consistent and reliable responses? A. Zero-shot prompting. B. Self-consistency method. C. Least to most prompting. D. Generated knowledge prompting. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Self-consistency method. Explanation. Option B is correct because self-consistency involves running prompts multiple times and selecting the most frequent or coherent response, directly addressing output inconsistency issues. Option A is incorrect because zero-shot prompting without examples doesn't address the fundamental issue of response variability across multiple runs. Option C is incorrect because least to most prompting gradually increases complexity, but doesn't specifically target consistency in repeated prompt executions. Option D is incorrect because generated knowledge prompting creates context but doesn't ensure consistent outputs when the same prompt is repeated. Understanding self-consistency in AI is crucial for reliable outputs. When a developer gets inconsistent responses from the same prompt, it's like asking the same person the same question multiple times and getting different answers each time, frustrating and unreliable. The self-consistency method addresses this by running the prompt multiple times and then selecting the most frequent or coherent response. Imagine polling 5 experts on a topic and going with the majority opinion rather than just asking one expert once. This technique is particularly powerful because it leverages the statistical principle that correct answers tend to appear more frequently across multiple attempts. It's not about gradually increasing complexity, like least to most prompting, or providing examples like few-shot prompting. Instead, it's about finding consistency through repetition. This method essentially creates a voting system where the AI votes multiple times and we choose the winner. While this uses more computational resources, the payoff is significantly more reliable and consistent outputs for critical applications. 6. An educational institution implements AI for personalized learning recommendations, but notices certain learning styles are consistently underrepresented. What mitigation strategy would most effectively address this issue? A. Increase processing speed. B. Diversify training datasets. C. Simplify recommendation algorithms. D. Reduce system complexity. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Diversify training datasets. Explanation. Option B is correct because diversifying training datasets ensures all learning styles are represented, enabling the AI to generate balanced and inclusive personalized recommendations. Option A is incorrect because processing speed improvements don't address the fundamental bias in learning style representation within the system. Option C is incorrect because simplifying algorithms might reduce functionality without addressing the underlying data representation, imbalance causing the issue. Option D is incorrect because reducing complexity could limit the system's ability to recognize and accommodate diverse learning styles effectively. This question addresses a fundamental challenge in educational AI, ensuring all learning styles get fair representation. When certain learning styles are consistently underrepresented, we're dealing with a classic case of biased training data. Think of it like training a music teacher who only knows classical music. They'd struggle to teach students interested in jazz or rock. Diversifying training datasets is the key solution because it ensures the AI has learned from examples of visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic learners, and every combination in between. This isn't about making the system faster or simpler. In fact, properly diverse datasets often make systems more complex. The magic happens when the AI has seen enough variety to recognize and adapt to different learning patterns. Without this diversity, the AI will keep defaulting to the learning styles it knows best, leaving many students without personalized recommendations that actually work for them. 7. When crafting prompts for AI image generation, you need a vintage photograph aesthetic. Which prompt element combination would most effectively achieve this specific visual style requirement? A. Multiple detailed sentences. B. Style and mood specifications. C. Abstract concept descriptions. D. Technical camera settings. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Style and mood specifications. Explanation. Option B is correct because specifying style and mood directly communicates the vintage aesthetic requirement, guiding the AI to generate images with appropriate visual characteristics. Option A is incorrect because multiple sentences can confuse image generation models, which perform better with concise, focused style specifications. Option C is incorrect because abstract concepts don't provide the concrete visual direction needed for achieving a specific photographic aesthetic. Option D is incorrect because technical camera settings might not translate effectively to AI image generation's understanding of visual styles. Creating effective prompts for AI image generation requires understanding how these systems interpret our instructions. When you want a vintage photograph aesthetic, the key is specificity in style and mood rather than lengthy descriptions. Think of it like ordering coffee. Saying vintage sepia tone portrait with soft grain is far more effective than writing a paragraph about your grandmother's photo album. Style and mood specifications work because they tap into the AI's training on artistic concepts. The AI has learned what vintage looks like across thousands of examples. The color tones, the grain patterns, the compositional styles of different eras. When we specify style and mood, we're essentially giving the AI a creative GPS coordinate. Multiple sentences actually confuse image generators because they're trained to process concise visual descriptions. The most effective approach is clear, concise style direction that leverages the AI's artistic training. 8. A healthcare organization wants to use AI for patient data analysis while maintaining strict ethical standards. What principles should guide their implementation to ensure both effectiveness and compliance? A. Maximum automation priority. B. Speed over accuracy. C. Human oversight requirement. D. Cost reduction focus. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Human oversight requirement. Explanation. Option C is correct because human oversight ensures critical healthcare decisions maintain professional judgment while leveraging AI's analytical capabilities for improved patient care outcomes. Option A is incorrect because maximum automation in healthcare risks removing essential human judgment from critical patient care decisions and diagnoses. Option B is incorrect because prioritizing speed over accuracy in healthcare contexts could lead to dangerous misdiagnoses or treatment recommendations. Option D is incorrect because focusing primarily on cost reduction might compromise patient care quality and necessary safety protocols. Healthcare AI implementation presents unique ethical challenges that go beyond typical business applications. The principle of human oversight isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely critical for patient safety. Imagine AI as a highly skilled medical resident who's read every medical journal but has never actually felt a patient's pulse. The AI can process vast amounts of data and identify patterns humans might miss, but it lacks the intuitive understanding that comes from years of patient interaction. Human oversight ensures that a doctor's experience, intuition, and ability to see the whole patient, not just the data, remains central to healthcare decisions. This isn't about slowing things down or increasing costs. It's about creating a partnership where AI enhances human decision-making rather than replacing it. Maximum automation might work for sorting emails, but when a decision could literally be life or death, we need human wisdom to validate AI suggestions. This collaborative approach leverages AI's computational power while maintaining the irreplaceable value of human medical judgment. 9. Your team notices that few-shot prompting significantly improves their AI model's performance on classification tasks. What makes this technique particularly effective compared to zero-shot approaches? A. Eliminates processing time. B. Provides contextual examples. C. Reduces token requirements. D. Simplifies prompt creation. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Provides contextual examples. Explanation. Option B is correct because few-shot prompting gives the model representative examples that establish context and patterns, enabling more accurate classification than zero-shot approaches. Option A is incorrect because few-shot prompting actually increases processing time due to the additional examples that must be analysed. Option C is incorrect because including examples in few-shot prompting increases rather than reduces the total token count required. Option D is incorrect because creating effective few-shot prompts requires careful example selection, making prompt creation more complex, not simpler. Few-shot prompting represents a powerful middle ground in AI interaction techniques. To understand why it outperforms zero-shot approaches for classification tasks, think of it like teaching someone to sort mail. With zero-shot, you just say, "Sort these letters," and hope they figure it out. With few-shot, you show them a few examples first. Bills go here, personal letters there, advertisements in this pile. The contextual examples in few-shot prompting serve as a training mini-session right within the prompt itself. The AI sees the pattern in your examples and applies that same logic to new inputs. This is incredibly effective because it bridges the gap between the AI's general knowledge and your specific needs. While few-shot prompting does require more tokens and takes more time than zero-shot, the accuracy improvement is usually worth it. It's not about eliminating processing time or simplifying the prompt. It's about giving the AI just enough context to understand exactly what you want. 10. An AI system consistently generates false information when asked about recent events. This phenomenon represents which specific challenge in generative AI deployment and reliability? A. Processing limitations. B. Hallucination occurrence. C. Network latency. D. Memory overflow. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Hallucination occurrence. Explanation. Option B is correct because hallucination in AI refers to generating plausible sounding but false information, particularly common when models lack training on recent events. Option A is incorrect because processing limitations would cause slow responses or failures, not the generation of convincing but false information. Option C is incorrect because network latency affects response time and connectivity, not the accuracy or truthfulness of generated content. Option D is incorrect because memory overflow would cause system crashes or errors rather than coherent but false information generation. AI hallucination is one of the most concerning challenges in generative AI deployment. When an AI system generates false information about recent events, it's not lying in the human sense, it's hallucinating. Think of it like a very confident person filling in gaps in their knowledge with plausible-sounding fiction. The AI has been trained on patterns in text, so when asked about something beyond its training data, it generates what seems statistically likely based on those patterns. This is particularly problematic with recent events because the AI's training data has a cutoff date. It's like asking someone who's been in isolation since 2020 to describe current events. They might make educated guesses that sound reasonable but are completely wrong. This isn't a processing limitation or a memory problem. The AI is working perfectly, just with incomplete information. Understanding hallucination is crucial because these false outputs can be very convincing. 11. When implementing cognitive verifier technique in complex problem-solving scenarios, what is the primary mechanism through which this approach improves response quality and accuracy? A. Automatic error correction. B. Clarifying question generation. C. Response speed optimization. D. Token usage minimization. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Clarifying question generation. Explanation. Option B is correct because cognitive verifier prompts the model to ask clarifying questions, ensuring better comprehension of complex problems before generating final responses. Option A is incorrect because cognitive verifier focuses on understanding improvement through questions rather than automatically correcting errors after generation. Option C is incorrect because cognitive verifier actually slows response generation by adding an interrogative step to ensure better understanding. Option D is incorrect because the clarifying question process increases token usage rather than minimizing it in complex scenarios. The cognitive verifier technique represents a sophisticated approach to improving AI comprehension. Instead of just accepting a complex problem at face value, this technique prompts the AI to ask clarifying questions before attempting a solution. Imagine hiring a consultant who, instead of immediately proposing solutions, first asks smart questions to truly understand your situation. That's exactly what cognitive verifier does. It turns the AI into an active investigator rather than a passive responder. The primary mechanism here is the generation of clarifying questions that probe deeper into the problem space. This isn't about automatic error correction after the fact, or speeding up responses. In fact, cognitive verifier actually slows things down because it adds an interrogative phase. But this investment in understanding pays off with dramatically improved response quality. Think of it as the difference between a doctor who prescribes medicine after a 2-minute consultation versus one who asks about your symptoms, history, and lifestyle first. 12. A financial services company wants to implement AI for fraud detection, but needs to explain decisions to regulators. Which AI characteristic is most critical for their requirements? A. Processing speed. B. Algorithm transparency. C. Data volume capacity. D. Cost effectiveness. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Algorithm transparency. Explanation option B is correct because transparent algorithms enable clear explanation of decision-making processes, essential for regulatory compliance and accountability in financial fraud detection. Option A is incorrect because while speed matters, regulatory requirements prioritize the ability to explain and justify fraud detection decisions. Option C is incorrect because data capacity alone doesn't address the regulatory need for explainable and auditable decision-making processes. Option D is incorrect because cost effectiveness doesn't fulfill the regulatory requirement for transparent and explainable fraud detection mechanisms. Financial services and AI create a unique challenge where powerful technology meets strict regulatory requirements. The critical characteristic here isn't how fast the AI can detect fraud or how much data it can process. It's algorithm transparency. Think of it like a judge who must not only deliver a verdict, but also explain their reasoning in detail. Regulators need to understand exactly how and why an AI system flagged something as fraudulent. Was it the transaction amount, the timing, the location, or a combination of factors? Transparent algorithms allow the company to open up the black box and show regulators the decision tree. This is fundamentally different from processing speed or data capacity, which are operational concerns. Without transparency, a company might catch fraud effectively, but fail compliance audits because they can't explain their methods. It's like having a brilliant detective who solves cases but can't testify in court about how they reached their conclusions. 13. Your content generation AI produces excellent creative writing, but struggles with technical documentation. Which prompt engineering adjustment would most effectively improve technical writing outputs? A. Increase creativity parameters. B. Add persona specifications. C. Remove all constraints. D. Simplify vocabulary requirements. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Add persona specifications. Explanation. Option B is correct because persona specifications guide the AI to adopt a technical writer's perspective, improving accuracy, structure, and terminology in technical documentation. Option A is incorrect because increasing creativity would further diverge from the precision and clarity required in technical documentation writing. Option C is incorrect because removing constraints would allow more creative freedom, worsening the technical documentation quality and consistency issues. Option D is incorrect because technical documentation requires precise terminology, and simplifying vocabulary would reduce accuracy and professional quality. When AI excels at creative writing but struggles with technical documentation, we're seeing a classic prompt engineering challenge. The solution lies in persona specifications, essentially giving the AI a professional identity to embody. Think of it like an actor preparing for a role. When you tell the AI to adopt a technical writer persona, you're not just changing its style, you're fundamentally shifting its entire approach to language. Technical writers prioritize precision over creativity, clarity over cleverness, and consistency over variety. By specifying this persona, we guide the AI to access the part of its training that learned from technical manuals, documentation, and specifications rather than creative literature. The magic of persona specification is that it provides focused guidance without requiring complex reprogramming. It's like switching from poet mode to engineer mode with a simple instruction. 14. When using tree of thought prompting for strategic business planning, what advantage does this technique offer over traditional linear prompting methods? A. Faster execution time. B. Multiple reasoning paths. C. Reduced complexity handling. D. Simplified decision making. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Multiple reasoning paths. Explanation. Option B is correct because tree of thought explores various reasoning branches simultaneously, enabling comprehensive analysis of different strategic options and potential outcomes. Option A is incorrect because exploring multiple paths requires more processing time than following a single linear reasoning approach. Option C is incorrect because tree of thought actually increases complexity by examining multiple branches rather than reducing it. Option D is incorrect because considering multiple paths makes decision-making more thorough, but also more complex than linear approaches. Tree of thought prompting revolutionizes how we approach complex strategic planning with AI. Unlike traditional linear prompting that follows a single path from A to B, Tree of Thought explores multiple reasoning branches simultaneously, like a chess master considering various moves and their consequences. Imagine planning a business strategy. You wouldn't just consider one option, you'd explore multiple scenarios. Should we expand internationally or focus domestically? If we expand, should we go to Europe or Asia first? Each choice branches into more possibilities. Tree of Thought mimics this natural strategic thinking process. The AI explores different reasoning paths, evaluates their outcomes, and can even backtrack when a path proves unfruitful. This isn't about faster execution. It takes more time because we're exploring multiple paths. But for strategic business planning, this comprehensive exploration is invaluable. You get to see not just the obvious solution, but also creative alternatives. 15. A research team discovers their AI model performs poorly on tasks outside its training domain. This limitation best illustrates the distinction between which two AI concepts? A. Narrow and general AI. B. Supervised and unsupervised. C. Deep and shallow learning. D. Reinforcement and transfer. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Narrow and general AI. Explanation. Option A is correct because narrow AI excels at specific tasks within its training domain, while general AI would theoretically handle any intellectual task. Option B is incorrect because supervised versus unsupervised refers to training methods with or without labeled data, not domain limitations. Option C is incorrect because deep and shallow learning differ in network layers and complexity, not fundamental domain adaptation capabilities. Option D is incorrect because reinforcement and transfer describe learning approaches rather than the fundamental limitation of domain-specific performance. This question perfectly illustrates the fundamental distinction between narrow AI and general AI. When a research team's AI model excels within its training domain but fails outside it, we're witnessing the defining limitation of narrow AI. Think of narrow AI like a world-class pianist who can play any piano piece brilliantly but can't play the violin at all. Current AI systems are all narrow AI. They're trained for specific tasks and excel within those boundaries. A chess AI can beat world champions but can't write poetry. A language model can write essays but can't play chess. General AI, which remains theoretical, would be like a person who can learn any skill. This distinction isn't about learning methods like supervised versus unsupervised or network depth. It's about the fundamental capability to transfer knowledge across domains. Understanding this limitation is crucial for setting realistic expectations about what AI can and cannot do. 16. An e-commerce platform uses AI for product recommendations, but customers complain about irrelevant suggestions. Which component of effective prompting is most likely missing? A. Output format specification. B. Context provision. C. Processing speed. D. Visual design. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Context provision. Explanation. Option B is correct because context provides background information about customer preferences and behavior patterns, essential for generating relevant and personalized product recommendations. Option A is incorrect because output format affects presentation structure but doesn't determine the relevance of recommendation content itself. Option C is incorrect because processing speed affects response time but doesn't influence the relevance or quality of recommendations. Option D is incorrect because visual design impacts user interface aesthetics rather than the algorithmic relevance of product suggestions. When an e-commerce platform's AI gives irrelevant product recommendations, the root cause often traces back to missing context in the prompting structure. Context is like giving someone your shopping history before asking for advice. Without it, they're just guessing. Imagine walking into a store where the clerk knows nothing about you. versus one where they remember your preferences, past purchases, and even what you browsed but didn't buy. That's the difference context makes in AI recommendations. The AI needs contextual information about customer behavior patterns, preferences, purchase history, and browsing habits. This isn't about how the recommendations are formatted or displayed. That's output format specification. It's not about processing speed, which only affects how quickly bad recommendations appear. Context provides the crucial background information that transforms generic suggestions into personalized, relevant recommendations. Without proper context, even the most sophisticated AI is essentially throwing darts blindfolded. 17. When implementing AI for customer service automation, what ethical principle ensures the system maintains appropriate boundaries while providing helpful assistance? A. Maximum efficiency. B. Complete automation. C. Human autonomy preservation. D. Cost minimization. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Human autonomy preservation. Explanation. Option C is correct because preserving human autonomy ensures customers retain control over important decisions, while AI provides supportive assistance without overstepping boundaries. Option A is incorrect because maximum efficiency might sacrifice important human touchpoints and decision-making authority in sensitive situations. Option B is incorrect because complete automation removes human control and judgment from situations that may require empathy or discretion. Option D is incorrect because cost minimization could compromise service quality and the appropriate balance between automation and human intervention. Customer service automation presents a delicate balance between efficiency and human dignity. The ethical principle of human autonomy preservation is crucial here. This principle ensures customers retain control over their decisions and aren't forced into AI-determined pathways. Think of it like the difference between a helpful assistant and an overbearing salesperson. The AI should suggest and support, not dictate or manipulate. Preserving human autonomy means giving customers the option to escalate to human agents, make their own choices, and maintain control over their service experience. This is fundamentally different from pursuing maximum efficiency, which might eliminate human touchpoints entirely. The key is creating a system where AI handles routine tasks efficiently while preserving human choice and dignity. Customers should feel supported by technology, not trapped by it. 18. A company implementing generated knowledge prompting notices improved performance on complex queries. What mechanism makes this technique particularly effective for challenging tasks? A. Reduces processing requirements. B. Creates helpful context. C. Eliminates token usage. D. Simplifies query structure. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Creates helpful context. Explanation. Option B is correct because generated knowledge prompting has the model create relevant background information first, providing context that improves understanding of complex queries. Option A is incorrect because generating additional context actually increases rather than reduces the overall processing requirements for responses. Option C is incorrect because creating preliminary context significantly increases token usage rather than eliminating or reducing it. Option D is incorrect because adding a context generation step makes the overall query structure more complex, not simpler. Generated knowledge prompting is a clever technique that essentially makes the AI its own research assistant. When dealing with complex queries, this approach has the AI first generate relevant background information before tackling the main question. It's like a student who reviews their notes before answering an exam question. The mechanism that makes this effective is context creation. The AI generates helpful background information that enriches its understanding of the complex query. Imagine being asked to solve a calculus problem. You'd first recall relevant formulas and principles before attempting the solution. It definitely doesn't reduce processing requirements. It actually increases them because we're adding an extra generation step. But this complexity pays off. By having the AI generate relevant context first, we're priming it with the right information to handle challenging tasks more effectively. 19. Your organization needs to process sensitive documents using OCR technology while ensuring data privacy. What approach best balances functionality with security requirements? A. Cloud-based processing. B. Local processing systems. C. Public API usage. D. Crowdsourced verification. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Local processing systems. Explanation. Option B is correct because local processing keeps sensitive documents within organizational control, maintaining privacy and security while enabling necessary OCR functionality. Option A is incorrect because cloud processing involves sending sensitive documents to external servers, creating potential privacy and security risks. Option C is incorrect because public APIs require sharing sensitive data with third-party services, compromising organizational data privacy. Option D is incorrect because crowdsourced verification would expose sensitive documents to multiple external parties, violating privacy requirements. Processing sensitive documents with OCR technology while maintaining privacy requires careful consideration of where and how the processing occurs. Local processing systems are the clear winner here because they keep sensitive documents entirely within organizational control. Think of it like the difference between developing photos in your own darkroom versus sending film to a public lab. With local processing, the documents never leave your secure environment. They're scanned, processed, and stored all within your organization's infrastructure. This is vastly different from cloud-based processing, where you're essentially sending copies of sensitive documents to someone else's computer. Public APIs are even worse. You're sharing data with third-party services. Local processing might require more initial setup and maintenance, but for sensitive documents, it's the only approach that truly guarantees privacy and security. The data stays where it belongs, under your complete control. 20. When applying least to most prompting technique for educational content generation, what progressive structure makes this approach particularly effective for learning scenarios? A. Random complexity variation. B. Gradual difficulty increase. C. Immediate advanced concepts. D. Simplified final outcomes. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Gradual difficulty increase. Explanation. Option B is correct because least to most prompting builds understanding by starting with simple concepts and progressively increasing complexity, matching natural learning progression patterns. Option A is incorrect because random complexity variation would disrupt the logical learning progression and confuse rather than educate students. Option C is incorrect because starting with advanced concepts contradicts the foundational principle of building from simple to complex understanding. Option D is incorrect because simplifying final outcomes would reverse the intended progression from basic to advanced understanding levels. Least to most prompting is particularly powerful for educational content because it mirrors how humans naturally learn. The technique's effectiveness comes from its gradual difficulty increase, building knowledge layer by layer like constructing a pyramid. Imagine teaching someone to swim. You don't throw them in the deep end immediately. You start in shallow water, practice floating, then basic strokes, gradually working up to complex techniques. That's exactly how least to most prompting works. It begins with the simplest concepts and progressively increases complexity. This is completely opposite to random complexity variation, which would confuse learners. The beauty of gradual difficulty increase is that each step builds on the previous one, creating a solid foundation of understanding. students gain confidence with early successes and are better prepared for challenging material. 21. An AI model trained primarily on academic texts struggles with casual conversation. This scenario best demonstrates which type of bias affecting model performance. A. Sampling bias. B. Measurement bias. C. Algorithmic bias. D. Confirmation bias. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, A. Sampling bias. Explanation: option A is correct because sampling bias occurs when training data disproportionately represents one domain, causing poor performance in underrepresented areas like casual conversation. Option B is incorrect because measurement bias involves errors in data collection methods, rather than imbalanced representation of conversation styles. Option C is incorrect because algorithmic bias stems from the model architecture rather than the academic-heavy composition of training data. Option D is incorrect because confirmation bias reinforces existing beliefs rather than causing domain-specific performance limitations in conversation. Let's dive into the fascinating world of sampling bias and how it affects AI performance. When an AI model trained on academic texts struggles with casual conversation, we're witnessing sampling bias in action. Picture training a chef using only French cuisine cookbooks. They'd make excellent coq au vin, but might struggle with tacos or sushi. The AI has been disproportionately exposed to formal, structured academic language with complex vocabulary and rigid grammar. When someone asks "what's up" or uses slang, the model is like a professor at a teenager's party, technically capable, but contextually lost. Sampling bias occurs when training data doesn't represent the full spectrum of language use. This isn't measurement bias, which would be like recording conversations incorrectly. It's not algorithmic bias either. The algorithm works fine, it just learned from a skewed sample. The solution requires diversifying training data to include casual conversations, social media posts, and informal communications. 22. Your team implements AI for financial forecasting, but needs to maintain transparency for stakeholders. Which FAST principle most directly addresses this requirement? A. Fairness in outcomes. B. Accountability measures. C. Safety protocols. D. Transparency standards. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, D. Transparency standards. Explanation: option D is correct because transparency standards ensure stakeholders understand how AI makes financial forecasts, building trust through clear explanation of decision processes. Option A is incorrect because fairness focuses on equitable treatment rather than the openness and explainability stakeholders require for forecasts. Option B is incorrect because accountability addresses responsibility for decisions rather than the visibility into forecasting methodologies stakeholders need. Option C is incorrect because safety protocols prevent harm but don't provide the methodological transparency stakeholders require for forecasts. Financial forecasting with AI brings us face to face with the FAST principles: fairness, accountability, safety, and transparency. For stakeholder trust, transparency standards are absolutely critical. Stakeholders aren't just interested in what the forecast says, they need to understand how the AI reached its conclusions. Imagine investing your life savings based on a prediction from a black box that no one can explain. Terrifying, right? Transparency means opening up that box and showing the gears inside. Which economic indicators did the AI prioritize? How did it weight historical patterns versus current trends? This goes beyond fairness, which focuses on equitable treatment, or accountability, which assigns responsibility. Transparency is about making the invisible visible, turning algorithmic decisions into understandable narratives. When stakeholders can see the reasoning path, they can make informed decisions about whether to trust the forecast. 23. A healthcare AI system needs to identify potential drug interactions from patient records. Which data pre-processing step is most critical for accurate analysis? A. Increasing data volume. B. Removing contextual errors. C. Adding visual elements. D. Simplifying terminology. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Removing contextual errors. Explanation. Option B is correct because removing contextual errors ensures drug interaction analysis is based on accurate medical information, preventing potentially dangerous misidentification of conflicts. Option A is incorrect because more data without error correction could amplify inaccuracies and lead to incorrect drug interaction predictions. Option C is incorrect because visual elements aren't relevant for analysing text-based drug interaction data from patient medical records. Option D is incorrect because simplifying medical terminology could lose critical distinctions between drugs necessary for accurate interaction identification. Healthcare AI dealing with drug interactions demands the highest level of data accuracy. The most critical pre-processing step here is removing contextual errors, mistakes that could literally be life-threatening. Think about a medical record that accidentally lists aspirin as aspirin. Seems fine, right? But what if there's a contextual error where the dosage unit was recorded wrong? These contextual errors are like typos in a recipe, except instead of ruining dinner, they could cause dangerous drug interactions. The AI might incorrectly flag safe combinations as dangerous or, worse, miss actual dangerous interactions. This is different from simply increasing data volume, which could actually amplify errors if the data isn't clean. The key is ensuring every piece of information is contextually accurate. The right drug, right dose, right frequency, right route. One contextual error in drug interaction analysis isn't just a data quality issue, it's a patient safety crisis. 3. 24. When designing prompts for creative content generation, you notice outputs lack originality. Which prompt component would most effectively encourage more innovative responses? A. Strict format requirements. B. Detailed constraints. C. Creative persona adoption. D. Technical specifications. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Creative persona adoption. Explanation. Option C is correct because adopting a creative persona encourages the AI to approach content generation from an innovative perspective, enhancing originality and creative expression. Option A is incorrect because strict formatting requirements constrain creative expression rather than encouraging original and innovative content generation. Option B is incorrect because detailed constraints limit creative freedom and tend to produce more conventional rather than original outputs. Option D is incorrect because technical specifications focus on mechanical aspects rather than fostering the creative thinking needed for originality. When creative content lacks originality, the solution lies in the power of persona adoption. This technique fundamentally transforms how AI approaches content generation. Think of it like method acting. When an actor truly embodies a character, they don't just recite lines differently, they think differently. When we tell AI to adopt a creative persona, perhaps a surrealist artist or innovative designer, we're not just changing its vocabulary, we're shifting its entire creative paradigm. The AI begins drawing from different parts of its training, accessing patterns from creative masters rather than conventional writers. This is the opposite of adding strict format requirements, which would cage creativity. Creative persona adoption works because it gives the AI permission and direction to be bold, unexpected, and original. It's like telling someone to channel Picasso instead of painting by numbers. The entire approach to creation changes. 25. Your company's AI chatbot needs to handle both technical support and sales inquiries effectively. What prompt engineering strategy best enables this dual functionality? A. Single universal prompt. B. Context-aware switching. C. Random response selection. D. Fixed template usage. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Context-aware switching. Explanation. Option B is correct because context-aware switching allows the chatbot to identify inquiry types and adjust its approach accordingly, optimizing responses for each function. Option A is incorrect because a single universal prompt cannot effectively address the different requirements of technical versus sales conversations. Option C is incorrect because random selection would provide inconsistent and often inappropriate responses for specific inquiry types and contexts. Option D is incorrect because fixed templates lack the flexibility to adapt between technical problem-solving and sales-focused conversation styles. Managing a dual-function chatbot for technical support and sales requires sophisticated prompt engineering. Context-aware switching is the key to this versatility. Imagine a receptionist who instantly recognizes whether a visitor needs technical help or wants to buy something, then seamlessly shifts their approach. The system analyzes incoming queries for keywords, patterns, and intent signals. Is the user saying "my device won't turn on" or "tell me about your pricing"? Based on these cues, the AI switches between technical troubleshooting mode and sales conversation mode. Each mode has different priorities. A single universal prompt would be like having one script for both a repair manual and a sales pitch, ineffective for both. Context-aware switching creates a chameleon-like AI that adapts its personality and approach to match user needs. 26. An AI system for resume screening shows preference for certain educational institutions. What type of bias does this represent, and what is its primary impact? A. Selection bias affecting fairness. B. Measurement bias affecting accuracy. C. Algorithmic bias affecting speed. D. Confirmation bias affecting consistency. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, A. Selection bias affecting fairness. Explanation. Option A is correct because selection bias from non-representative training data causes unfair preference for certain institutions, potentially discriminating against qualified candidates from other schools. Option B is incorrect because measurement bias involves systematic errors in data collection or recording, not preference for certain institutions. Option C is incorrect because algorithmic bias refers to inherent issues in the algorithm's design or implementation, not a specific preference for institutions, and doesn't primarily impact speed. Option D is incorrect because confirmation bias involves the tendency to favor information confirming existing beliefs rather than creating institutional preferences, and doesn't directly affect consistency in this context. Resume screening bias towards certain educational institutions is a textbook example of selection bias affecting fairness. This happens when training data overrepresents graduates from particular schools, teaching the AI an unfair preference. Imagine training a food critic using only reviews from French restaurants. Similarly, if an AI learns mostly from resumes of Ivy League graduates who got hired, it develops an institutional bias. The AI starts treating Harvard or Stanford as a quality signal rather than evaluating actual skills and experience. This creates an unfair disadvantage for equally qualified candidates from state schools. This isn't measurement bias about data recording or algorithmic bias in the code itself. It's selection bias. The training data selected doesn't fairly represent the full range of educational backgrounds. The impact on fairness is profound, perpetuating educational elitism and limiting opportunity based on school name rather than actual capability. 27. When implementing computer vision for quality control in manufacturing, what consideration is most critical for reliable defect detection? A. Processing speed optimization. B. Training data diversity. C. Cost reduction measures. D. Interface design quality. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Training data diversity. Explanation. Option B is correct, because diverse training data ensures the system recognizes various defect types across different conditions, critical for comprehensive quality control coverage. Option A is incorrect because while speed matters, accuracy in detecting all defect types is more critical for quality control effectiveness. Option C is incorrect because cost reduction should not compromise the system's ability to detect the full range of manufacturing defects. Option D is incorrect because interface design affects usability but does not impact the fundamental defect, detection accuracy and reliability. Computer vision for manufacturing quality control is only as good as its training data diversity. Defects come in countless varieties: scratches, dents, discoloration, misalignment, and each can appear under different lighting, angles, and surface conditions. Think of training a jeweler to spot fake diamonds. They need to see fakes made with different techniques, under various lights, at multiple angles. Similarly, quality control AI needs exposure to defects in morning light, afternoon shadows, on matte surfaces, glossy finishes, and everything in between. Without this diversity, the AI might miss defects that appear slightly different from its training examples. The fundamental truth is that comprehensive defect detection requires comprehensive training data that captures the full spectrum of possible defect presentations. 28. A legal firm uses AI for document analysis but needs to ensure confidentiality. Which implementation approach best protects sensitive client information? A. Public cloud services. B. Open source models. C. On-premises deployment. D. Crowdsourced validation. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. On-premises deployment. Explanation. Option C is correct because on-premises deployment keeps sensitive legal documents within the firm's physical control, ensuring client confidentiality and meeting regulatory compliance requirements. Option A is incorrect because public cloud services involve storing sensitive legal documents on external servers outside firm control, increasing the risk of unauthorized access. Option B is incorrect because open source models might have security vulnerabilities and do not address the core data storage location concern. Option D is incorrect because crowdsourced validation would expose confidential client information to external parties, violating attorney-client privilege. Legal document confidentiality represents one of the highest stakes scenarios for AI implementation. On-premises deployment is the gold standard for protecting sensitive client information. This approach keeps all data processing within the firm's physical walls, like having a vault that never opens to the outside world. With on-premises deployment, documents are scanned, analysed, and stored entirely on servers the firm owns and controls. No data travels across the internet, no third parties gain access, and no cloud provider can accidentally expose information. Public cloud services would mean trusting someone else's security with your client's secrets. Attorney-client privilege is sacred, and on-premises deployment treats it as such. While this requires more infrastructure investment for legal firms, the absolute control over client data isn't optional. It's an ethical and legal imperative. 29. Your educational platform uses AI to generate study materials, but students report inconsistent difficulty levels. Which prompting technique would best standardize content complexity? A. Zero-shot generation. B. Self-consistency checking. C. Output format control. D. Chain of thought reasoning. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Output format control. Explanation. Option C is correct because output format control includes specifying difficulty parameters and structure requirements, ensuring consistent complexity levels across all generated study materials. Option A is incorrect because zero-shot generation without examples or parameters will not ensure consistent difficulty levels in educational content. Option B is incorrect because self-consistency checks for agreement between outputs, but does not directly control or standardize difficulty levels. Option D is incorrect because chain of thought reasoning improves problem-solving explanation, but does not standardize the difficulty of generated content. Educational platforms struggling with inconsistent difficulty levels need precision control over their AI outputs. Output format control is the solution because it allows explicit specification of difficulty parameters alongside structure requirements. Think of it like a recipe that specifies not just ingredients, but exact temperatures and timing. With output format control, you can tell the AI to generate grade 5 vocabulary, 10-question quizzes, with 3 easy, 5 medium, and 2 hard questions. This level of specification ensures consistency across all generated materials. Zero-shot generation without parameters is like asking someone to cook without telling them if it's breakfast or dinner. The power of output format control is that it turns vague requests into precise specifications. Instead of hoping the AI guesses the right difficulty, you explicitly define it. This creates predictable, consistent educational content that teachers can rely on. 30. When using AI for sentiment analysis of customer feedback, what pre-processing step most significantly impacts accuracy? A. Font standardization. B. Contextual error correction. C. Color coding addition. D. Image attachment removal. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Contextual error correction. Explanation. Option B is correct because correcting contextual errors ensures sentiment analysis accurately interprets intended meanings, rather than being misled by typos or ambiguous phrasing. Option A is incorrect because font standardization is a visual formatting issue that doesn't affect the textual sentiment analysis process. Option C is incorrect because color coding is a visualization technique applied after analysis, not a pre-processing step affecting accuracy. Option D is incorrect because while removing images streamlines processing, it doesn't impact the accuracy of text-based sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis accuracy hinges on understanding what people actually meant to say, not just what they typed. Contextual error correction is crucial because customer feedback is often filled with typos, autocorrect failures, and ambiguous phrasing that can completely flip sentiment interpretation. Consider a review saying this product is not bad. Without context, not bad could be negative, but contextually it often means pretty good. Or imagine I can't say enough good things, being misread as negative because of the word can't. These contextual errors are like static on a radio. They distort the true message. Contextual error correction involves understanding linguistic patterns, sarcasm, double negatives, and cultural expressions. It's the difference between literal word analysis and actual meaning extraction. Without this correction, sentiment analysis becomes unreliable, potentially marking happy customers as unhappy. 31. A marketing team wants AI-generated content to maintain brand voice consistency. Which prompt engineering element most directly ensures this alignment? A. Token limit specification. B. Persona definition inclusion. C. Processing speed requirements. D. Visual layout instructions. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Persona definition inclusion. Explanation. Option B is correct because persona definition guides the AI to adopt specific brand voice characteristics, ensuring generated content consistently reflects company communication style. Option A is incorrect because token limits control length, but don't influence the stylistic consistency of brand voice in content. Option C is incorrect because processing speeds affects generation time, but has no impact on brand voice consistency or quality. Option D is incorrect because visual layout pertains to formatting rather than the linguistic style and tone of brand communication. Brand voice consistency in AI-generated content is like maintaining a character in a long-running TV series. Every episode must feel authentically connected. Persona definition inclusion is the key to this consistency. When you define a persona for your AI, you're not just telling it what to say, but how to say it. Imagine your brand as a person. Are they professional but approachable, quirky and fun, or serious and authoritative? The persona definition captures these nuances: vocabulary choices, sentence structure, humour level, formality degree. This goes far beyond token limits, which only control length, not style. With proper persona definition, every piece of content feels like it came from the same author. Whether it's a tweet, blog post, or email, it's the difference between having a consistent brand ambassador versus different random people speaking for your company. 32. Your organisation discovers its AI recruitment tool. Disadvantages candidates who use certain regional expressions. What mitigation strategy would most effectively address this issue? A. Faster processing algorithms. B. Diverse linguistic training. C. Simplified job descriptions. D. Automated decision making. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Diverse linguistic training. Explanation. Option B is correct because training on diverse linguistic data ensures the AI recognizes and fairly evaluates various regional expressions rather than penalizing unfamiliar language. Option A is incorrect because processing speed improvements don't address the fundamental bias against regional linguistic variations in evaluation. Option C is incorrect because simplifying job descriptions doesn't solve the AI's inability to fairly interpret diverse regional expressions. Option D is incorrect because automated decisions would perpetuate existing biases rather than addressing the linguistic discrimination issue identified. When recruitment AI penalizes regional expressions, we're witnessing linguistic bias that demands diverse linguistic training. This bias occurs when AI trained primarily on one dialect or region's language patterns fails to recognize equally valid expressions from other areas. Imagine a British-trained AI encountering American resumes. Analysed versus analysed, whilst versus while. Or regional phrases like fixing to meaning about to. The AI might incorrectly view these as errors or signs of poor communication skills. Diverse linguistic training exposes the AI to various dialects and regionalisms. The solution requires training data from multiple regions, cultures, and linguistic backgrounds. This teaches the AI that professional competence can be expressed in many linguistic flavours, preventing unfair disadvantage based on regional origin. 33. When implementing reinforcement learning for game AI development, what distinguishes this approach from supervised learning methods? A. Requires labeled datasets. B. Learns through rewards. C. Uses predetermined outputs. D. Needs human annotation. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Learns through rewards. Explanation. Option B is correct because reinforcement learning uniquely learns through environmental interaction and reward signals rather than from pre-labeled training data or examples. Option A is incorrect because reinforcement learning specifically doesn't require labeled datasets. learning instead through trial and reward feedback. Option C is incorrect because reinforcement learning discovers optimal strategies through exploration rather than using predetermined correct outputs. Option D is incorrect because reinforcement learning operates through automatic reward signals rather than requiring human annotation of actions. Reinforcement learning stands apart from other machine learning methods through its unique learning mechanism, learning through rewards and punishments. In game AI development, this mirrors how humans learn games through trial and error. Imagine teaching someone chess without showing them any games or telling them the rules. Instead, they learn by playing and receiving points for good moves and penalties for bad ones. The AI agent interacts with the game environment, tries different strategies, and learns from the consequences. This is fundamentally different from supervised learning, which requires labelled examples. Reinforcement learning discovers what's good through experience. The AI develops strategies that might surprise even expert players because it's not limited to human-taught patterns. 34. A financial institution needs AI to explain loan decisions to applicants. Which technique best enables clear reasoning transparency? A. Deep learning networks. B. Chain of thought prompting. C. Zero-shot classification. D. Generated knowledge approach. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Chain of thought prompting. Explanation. Option B is correct because chain of thought prompting explicitly shows step-by-step reasoning, providing applicants with a clear understanding of how loan decisions were reached. Option A is incorrect because deep learning networks often operate as black boxes, making decision reasoning difficult to explain transparently. Option C is incorrect because zero-shot classification provides answers without showing the reasoning process applicants need for understanding decisions. Option D is incorrect because generated knowledge creates context, but doesn't necessarily reveal the logical steps in decision-making processes. Financial institutions need AI that can explain loan decisions transparently, and chain of thought prompting delivers exactly that capability. This technique makes the AI articulate its reasoning step by step, creating an audit trail of logic that applicants can understand. Imagine the difference between a loan officer saying denied versus explaining your debt-to-income ratio of 40% exceeds our 35% threshold, but improving it by paying down credit cards could qualify you. Chain of thought prompting produces the latter: transparent, educational, and actionable feedback. Each step in the reasoning chain is visible: income verification, credit score analysis, debt calculation, risk assessment. For loan applications where decisions impact lives and regulations require explanations, chain of thought transforms opaque AI decisions into transparent, defensible reasoning. 35. Your content moderation AI incorrectly flags legitimate educational content as inappropriate. This issue most likely indicates which type of training problem. A. Insufficient context understanding. B. Excessive processing speed. C. Inadequate memory allocation. D. Poor interface design. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, A. Insufficient context understanding. Explanation. Option A is correct because insufficient context understanding causes the AI to misinterpret educational content's purpose, leading to incorrect flagging of legitimate material. Option B is incorrect because processing speed relates to performance timing rather than the accuracy of content classification decisions. Option C is incorrect because memory allocation affects system capacity rather than the ability to distinguish educational from inappropriate content. Option D is incorrect because interface design impacts user interaction rather than the AI's content interpretation and classification accuracy. Content moderation AI flagging legitimate educational content reveals a critical flaw: insufficient context understanding. This happens when AI can't distinguish between problematic content and educational discussions about sensitive topics. Imagine an AI that can't tell the difference between promoting dangerous behavior and a safety video warning against it. Both might contain similar keywords, but the context is completely opposite. A history lesson about conflicts might use words that trigger content filters, but the educational context makes it appropriate. Medical education discussing human anatomy gets flagged as inappropriate when it's actually crucial learning material. The AI lacks the contextual sophistication to understand purpose, audience, and educational value. The solution requires training AI to recognize educational contexts, understanding that discussing difficult topics for learning purposes is fundamentally different from promoting harmful content. 36. When developing AI for medical diagnosis support, what ethical principle must take precedence to ensure patient safety? A. Cost efficiency. B. Full automation. C. Human oversight. D. Speed optimization. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Human oversight. Explanation: option C is correct because human oversight ensures qualified medical professionals validate AI suggestions, maintaining patient safety through expert judgment in critical healthcare decisions. Option A is incorrect because prioritizing cost efficiency over safety measures could compromise patient care and lead to harmful outcomes. Option B is incorrect because full automation removes essential medical expertise and judgment from potentially life-critical diagnostic decisions. Option D is incorrect because optimizing for speed rather than accuracy and oversight could result in dangerous misdiagnoses affecting patient health. Medical diagnosis support represents the ultimate high-stakes AI application where human oversight isn't optional, it's absolutely essential. This ethical principle recognizes that while AI can process vast amounts of medical data and identify patterns, medical decisions require human wisdom, empathy, and accountability. Think of AI as an incredibly knowledgeable medical student who has read every journal but never held a patient's hand or delivered difficult news. The AI might identify a rare condition based on symptoms, but a human doctor considers the patient's quality of life, personal values, and unique circumstances. Human oversight ensures that medical professionals validate AI suggestions, catch potential errors, and make nuanced decisions that algorithms can't. Full automation in medicine would be like replacing pilots with autopilot completely, technically possible but ethically unacceptable when lives are at stake. 37. A retail company implements AI for inventory prediction but experiences poor performance during seasonal peaks. What aspect of their training data likely needs improvement? A. File format consistency. B. Historical pattern diversity. C. Color coding schemes. D. Database structure design. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Historical pattern diversity. Explanation: option B is correct because historical pattern diversity ensures training data includes various seasonal scenarios, enabling accurate predictions during peak periods and unusual events. Option A is incorrect because file format consistency affects data processing efficiency, but not the model's ability to predict seasonal patterns. Option C is incorrect because color coding is a visualization element that doesn't impact the AI's pattern recognition or prediction capabilities. Option D is incorrect because database structure affects data organization rather than the model's ability to learn seasonal inventory patterns. Retail inventory prediction failing during seasonal peaks points directly to insufficient historical pattern diversity in training data. This problem occurs when AI learns from typical periods, but lacks exposure to the extreme variations of peak seasons. Imagine training a weather predictor using only sunny days. Black Friday, holiday rushes, back-to-school seasons. These aren't just busy periods, they're completely different beasts with unique patterns. Customer behavior changes, product preferences shift, and demand spikes in unexpected ways. Without diverse historical patterns, the AI can't recognize and adapt. The key is ensuring training data includes the full spectrum of seasonal patterns across multiple years, capturing not just the peaks, but the unique characteristics of each seasonal event. This diversity enables accurate prediction when normal patterns no longer apply. 38. Your team needs to extract data from handwritten forms using AI. Which technology combination would provide the most accurate results? A. Voice recognition only. B. OCR with pre-processing. C. Speech synthesis systems. D. Pure computer vision. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. OCR with pre-processing. Explanation. Option B is correct because OCR with pre-processing handles image quality enhancement and text extraction optimally, improving accuracy for challenging handwritten document digitization tasks. Option A is incorrect because voice recognition processes audio input and cannot extract information from visual handwritten documents or forms. Option C is incorrect because speech synthesis generates audio output rather than extracting text data from handwritten visual inputs. Option D is incorrect because pure computer vision identifies objects and patterns, but lacks specialized text recognition capabilities for handwriting. Extracting data from handwritten forms requires the powerful combination of OCR with pre-processing. This isn't just about character recognition, it's about making handwriting readable to machines. Handwritten text presents unique challenges, varying styles, inconsistent spacing, smudges, and personal quirks. Pre-processing is the critical first step that enhances image quality, adjusts contrast, removes noise, and normalizes the text orientation. Think of it like cleaning glasses before reading. The text was always there, but now it's clear. OCR then converts these pre-processed images into digital text. The pre-processing plus OCR combination handles everything from doctors' prescriptions to historical documents, transforming illegible scrawls into searchable digital text. It's the bridge between the analog world of handwriting and the digital world of data. 39. When implementing AI for academic research assistance, what approach best ensures credible and reliable information generation? A. Maximum creativity settings. B. Unrestricted content generation. C. Source verification emphasis. D. Speed optimized responses. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Source verification emphasis. Explanation. Option C is correct because emphasizing source verification ensures AI-assisted research maintains academic integrity through credible citations and fact-based information rather than hallucinations. Option A is incorrect because maximum creativity could generate plausible-sounding but unverified information inappropriate for academic research requirements. Option B is incorrect because unrestricted generation risks producing unsupported claims or misinformation that undermines research credibility and accuracy. Option D is incorrect because prioritizing speed over accuracy could compromise the thoroughness and reliability essential for academic research quality. Academic research assistance demands a fundamental commitment to credibility through source verification emphasis. This approach ensures AI-generated research maintains academic integrity by prioritizing verifiable facts over creative speculation. Think of the difference between a Wikipedia article with citations versus a blog post with opinions. Source verification emphasis instructs the AI to ground its responses in citable, credible sources rather than generating plausible sounding but unverified information. Maximum creativity settings would encourage the AI to fill gaps with imagination, exactly what we don't want in research. By emphasizing source verification, we ensure the AI acts like a careful researcher who checks facts, cites sources, and acknowledges uncertainty rather than a creative writer who prioritizes engaging narrative over truth. 40. A social media platform uses AI for content recommendations, but users complain about echo chambers. What system modification would best address this issue? A. Faster processing speeds. B. Diversity injection mechanisms. C. Simplified algorithms. D. Increased automation. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: B. Diversity injection mechanisms. Explanation. Option B is correct because diversity injection mechanisms intentionally introduce varied content perspectives, breaking echo chambers by exposing users to different viewpoints and topics. Option A is incorrect because processing speed improvements don't address the fundamental issue of content diversity in recommendation algorithms. Option C is incorrect because simplified algorithms might worsen echo chambers by reducing the sophistication needed for diverse content selection. Option D is incorrect because increased automation without diversity considerations would likely reinforce existing echo chamber patterns rather than breaking them. Social media echo chambers represent a fundamental challenge in recommendation algorithms that diversity injection mechanisms directly address. Echo chambers form when AI continuously recommends content similar to what users have already engaged with, creating intellectual isolation. It's like a restaurant that only serves you variations of the first dish you ordered. Eventually, you forget other foods exist. Diversity injection mechanisms intentionally introduce varied content that breaks these patterns. The algorithm deliberately includes different perspectives, topics, and viewpoints. The key is programming the AI to balance user preferences with exposure to diverse content. This creates a healthier information diet, like a nutritionist ensuring you eat vegetables even if you prefer dessert. Breaking echo chambers requires intentional design to expand horizons. 41. Your customer support AI needs to handle both simple queries and complex technical issues. Which prompting strategy enables appropriate response scaling? A. Fixed template responses. B. Adaptive complexity matching. C. Random selection process. D. Maximum detail always. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Adaptive complexity matching. Explanation. Option B is correct because adaptive complexity matching adjusts response depth based on query complexity, providing simple answers for basic questions and detailed explanations for technical issues. Option A is incorrect because fixed templates cannot scale appropriately between simple FAQ responses and complex technical troubleshooting requirements. Option C is incorrect because random selection would provide inconsistent and often inappropriate response levels regardless of actual query complexity. Option D is incorrect because always providing maximum detail overwhelms users with simple questions and wastes resources on unnecessary elaboration. Customer support systems face a unique challenge. They must handle everything from simple password resets to complex technical troubleshooting. Adaptive complexity matching is the elegant solution that scales responses appropriately to each query's needs. Think of it like a teacher who explains addition differently to a first grader than to a calculus student. The AI analyzes incoming queries to determine complexity levels. Is someone asking, "How do I turn it on?" Or, "Why is my API throwing a specific error code?" Based on this analysis, the system adjusts its response depth accordingly. Simple questions get concise, clear answers without overwhelming detail. Complex issues receive thorough explanations with step-by-step troubleshooting. Fixed templates would force every answer into the same rigid structure. Adaptive complexity matching creates the perfect response for each situation, like a skilled support agent who reads the room. 42. An AI writing assistant produces grammatically correct but culturally insensitive content. What training enhancement would most effectively address this limitation? A. Grammar rule reinforcement. B. Cultural context integration. C. Writing speed improvement. D. Format standardization. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Cultural context integration. Explanation. Option B is correct because cultural context integration teaches the AI about diverse perspectives and sensitivities, preventing offensive content while maintaining grammatical correctness. Option A is incorrect because grammar reinforcement does not address cultural sensitivity issues since the content is already grammatically correct. Option C is incorrect because writing speed has no relationship to cultural awareness or the sensitivity of generated content. Option D is incorrect because format standardization affects structure rather than the cultural appropriateness of content being generated. Grammatically correct but culturally insensitive AI content reveals a critical blind spot that only cultural context integration can address. This issue occurs when AI masters language mechanics but misses cultural nuances, like someone who speaks perfect textbook French but doesn't understand Parisian social customs. Cultural context integration teaches AI about diverse worldviews, traditions, sensitivities, and communication styles across different cultures. It's the difference between knowing words and understanding their cultural weight. For example, certain colours carry different meanings across cultures. Gestures that are positive in one culture may be offensive in another. Cultural context integration involves training on diverse cultural perspectives, understanding historical contexts, recognizing religious sensitivities, and learning appropriate communication styles for different audiences. This transforms AI from a technically proficient but culturally blind writer into a globally aware communicator. 43. When using AI for predictive maintenance in manufacturing, what data characteristic most critically impacts prediction accuracy? A. Storage format type. B. Temporal pattern coverage. C. File naming conventions. D. User interface design. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Temporal pattern coverage. Explanation. Option B is correct because temporal pattern nation coverage ensures training data includes various equipment, lifecycle stages, and failure modes, enabling accurate maintenance predictions. Option A is incorrect because storage format affects data accessibility, but not the predictive model's ability to identify maintenance patterns. Option C is incorrect because file naming conventions aid organization, but don't impact the AI's pattern recognition or prediction capabilities. Option D is incorrect because user interface design affects human interaction rather than the underlying predictive maintenance accuracy. Predictive maintenance in manufacturing relies heavily on temporal pattern coverage, the breadth of time-based patterns in training data. Equipment doesn't fail randomly, it follows patterns over time that span days, weeks, months, even years. Think of it like predicting when your car will need service. Temporal pattern coverage ensures the AI has seen equipment through complete life cycles, the break-in period of new machines, the steady operation phase, gradual wear patterns, seasonal stress variations, and the signs preceding different failure modes. You need the entire history of how equipment was driven, maintained, and stressed. The critical factor is having training data that captures the full temporal spectrum: startups, shutdowns, maintenance cycles, seasonal variations, and the subtle degradation patterns that precede failures. This temporal diversity enables AI to recognize where equipment sits in its life cycle. 44. Your organization implements AI for email classification, but sensitive messages are being misrouted. What prompt engineering improvement would best address this security concern? A. Faster processing algorithms. B. Explicit sensitivity criteria. C. Colorful visual markers. D. Simplified category names. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Explicit sensitivity criteria. Explanation. Option B is correct because explicit sensitivity criteria in prompts define clear parameters for identifying confidential content, preventing security breaches through proper message routing. Option A is incorrect because processing speed doesn't address the fundamental issue of accurately identifying and routing sensitive email content. Option C is incorrect because visual markers are display features that don't improve the AI's ability to classify sensitivity levels. Option D is incorrect because simplified names might reduce classification, granularity needed for proper sensitive message identification and routing. Email classification security breaches from misrouted sensitive messages demand explicit sensitivity criteria in prompt engineering. This solution works by defining clear, unambiguous parameters for identifying confidential content before it's too late. Imagine a postal worker who needs to identify registered mail, but was never told what makes mail special. Explicit sensitivity criteria might include keywords like confidential or proprietary, patterns like social security numbers or credit card formats, sender-recipient combinations indicating executive communications, or attachment types containing sensitive data. The AI needs comprehensive rules about what makes an email sensitive. This includes not just obvious markers, but subtle patterns. Discussions about mergers, personnel issues, financial data, or strategic planning. With explicit criteria, the AI becomes a vigilant guardian of information security. 45. A news organization uses AI for article summarization, but loses important nuances. Which technique would best preserve critical details while maintaining brevity? A. Maximum compression ratios. B. Context-preserving extraction. C. Speed-optimized processing. D. Template-based formatting. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Context-preserving extraction. Explanation. Option B is correct because context-preserving extraction maintains essential nuances and relationships between ideas while condensing content, balancing brevity with information completeness. Option A is incorrect because maximum compression prioritizes brevity over content fidelity, causing loss of important nuances and details. Option C is incorrect because optimizing for speed rather than quality would likely worsen the nuance preservation problem identified. Option D is incorrect because rigid templates might force omission of unique nuances that don't fit predetermined structural patterns. News article summarization that loses important nuances requires context-preserving extraction to maintain journalistic integrity. This technique carefully selects and condenses information while preserving the relationships, implications, and subtle meanings that give stories their full picture. Think of it like the difference between a movie trailer that captures the film's essence versus one that misleads. Context-preserving extraction maintains the connections between facts, the conditions under which statements were made, and the implications of events. A quote taken out of context can completely change its meaning. A statistic without its qualifying conditions becomes misleading. Context-preserving extraction uses sophisticated algorithms to identify not just key facts, but the contextual threads that connect them. It preserves the however, despite, and although that change everything. This creates summaries that are both concise and complete. 46. When implementing speech synthesis for accessibility tools, what consideration ensures the best user experience for diverse audiences? A. Maximum speaking speed. B. Voice customization options. C. Minimal system resources. D. Single accent selection. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Voice customization options. Explanation. Option B is correct because voice customization allows users to select preferences matching their needs, improving comprehension and comfort for diverse accessibility tool users. Option A is incorrect because maximum speed could reduce comprehension, particularly for users with processing differences or hearing challenges. Option C is incorrect because minimizing resources might compromise voice quality and features important for accessibility tool effectiveness. Option D is incorrect because limiting to single accent reduces accessibility for global users who better understand different pronunciation patterns. Speech synthesis for accessibility tools must prioritize voice customization options to serve diverse user needs effectively. Every person processes auditory information differently, especially those relying on accessibility tools due to visual impairments, learning differences, or other needs. Voice customization allows users to select speed, pitch, accent, and tone that match their personal comprehension preferences. Imagine being forced to learn from a teacher whose voice you can barely understand versus choosing someone whose speech patterns match your processing style. Regional accents matter too. Some users need slower speech to process information. Others prefer faster delivery. Voice customization transforms speech synthesis from a one-size-fits-all solution into a personalized accessibility tool that truly serves each individual's needs. 47. Your AI model for network security threat detection generates too many false positives. What training data adjustment would most effectively reduce these alerts? A. Increase data quantity. B. Balance threat examples. C. Simplify threat categories. D. Accelerate processing speed. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Balance threat examples. Explanation. Option B is correct because balancing threat examples with normal traffic patterns teaches the AI to better distinguish genuine threats from benign anomalies. Option A is incorrect because simply adding more data without addressing the imbalance could amplify the false positive problem. Option C is incorrect because simplifying categories might miss important threat distinctions, potentially increasing both false positives and negatives. Option D is incorrect because processing speed affects performance timing rather than the accuracy of threat identification and classification. Network security systems drowning in false positives need balanced threat examples in their training data. This balance teaches AI to distinguish between genuine threats and benign anomalies that simply look unusual. Think of it like training a guard dog. If you only show it intruders, it'll bark at every visitor. False positives occur when AI is trained predominantly on threat examples without sufficient normal traffic patterns for comparison. The AI becomes hypervigilant, flagging anything slightly unusual as dangerous. Balanced threat examples mean training with realistic proportions, mostly normal traffic with actual threats mixed in. The solution requires carefully curated training data that includes normal variations in network traffic, legitimate spikes during business hours, regular maintenance activities, and authorized unusual behaviors. This balance teaches AI that unusual doesn't always mean dangerous. 48. A translation AI struggles with idiomatic expressions between languages. Which training approach would best improve cultural phrase interpretation? A. Literal word mapping. B. Contextual meaning emphasis. C. Speed optimization focus. D. Character limit enforcement. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Contextual meaning emphasis. Explanation option B is correct because contextual meaning emphasis teaches the AI to interpret phrases based on cultural usage rather than word-for-word translation. Option A is incorrect because literal word mapping is precisely what causes poor idiomatic translation, missing cultural meaning entirely. Option C is incorrect because translation speed doesn't address the fundamental challenge of understanding cultural expressions and their meanings. Option D is incorrect because character limits constrain output length, but don't improve the AI's understanding of idiomatic expressions. Translation AI, struggling with idiomatic expressions, needs contextual meaning emphasis to capture the true essence of cultural phrases. Idioms are linguistic puzzles where literal translation destroys meaning entirely. Consider It's Raining Cats and Dogs. A literal translation would confuse any non-English speaker. Contextual meaning emphasis trains AI to recognize idiomatic patterns and map them to their actual meanings rather than word-by-word translations. This involves understanding that break a leg means good luck, piece of cake means easy, and thousands of other expressions that exist in every language. The key is training AI on parallel texts, where idioms are properly translated to their contextual equivalents in other languages. This teaches the AI to recognize when literal translation fails and to seek the cultural equivalent instead. It's the difference between translation and true communication. 49. When developing AI for automated code review, what capability is most essential for providing valuable developer feedback? A. Syntax highlighting. B. Pattern explanation ability. C. Compilation speed. D. Color theme options. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Pattern explanation ability. Explanation option B is correct, because pattern explanation ability enables the AI to articulate why certain code patterns are problematic, providing educational value beyond simple error identification. Option A is incorrect because syntax highlighting is a visual feature that doesn't contribute to the quality of code review feedback. Option C is incorrect because compilation speed relates to code execution rather than the thoroughness and value of review feedback. Option D is incorrect because color themes affect visual presentation rather than the AI's ability to analyze and explain code issues. Automated code review becomes truly valuable when AI possesses pattern explanation ability, the capacity to articulate why certain code patterns are problematic. This goes beyond simply flagging errors to providing educational feedback that helps developers improve. Imagine a driving instructor who only says wrong versus one who explains. Pattern explanation ability means the AI can identify anti-patterns, security vulnerabilities, or performance issues and explain their implications. It might say this nested loop creates complexity that will slow dramatically with larger datasets, or this pattern opens skull injection vulnerabilities. The real value comes from AI that acts as a knowledgeable mentor, explaining not just what's wrong but why it matters and how to fix it. This transforms code review from a gatekeeping function into a learning opportunity that elevates the entire development team's skills. 50. Your company's AI-powered recommendation engine needs to comply with privacy regulations while maintaining personalization. What implementation approach best achieves both goals? A. Collect maximum data. B. Federated learning adoption. C. Centralized processing only. D. Unrestricted data sharing. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Federated learning adoption. Explanation. Option B is correct because federated learning enables personalization by training on distributed data without centralizing sensitive information, maintaining privacy while improving recommendations. Option A is incorrect because collecting maximum data increases privacy risks and likely violates data minimization principles in privacy regulations. Option C is incorrect because centralized processing requires gathering all user data in one location, creating privacy and security vulnerabilities. Option D is incorrect because unrestricted data sharing directly violates privacy regulations and compromises user data protection requirements. The holy grail of privacy-preserving personalization in recommendation engines is federated learning adoption. This revolutionary approach enables AI to learn from user data without that data ever leaving the user's device. Imagine a teacher who improves by learning from all students' work, but never actually sees their papers. Federated learning works by training model updates locally on each user's device using their personal data. Only the model improvements, not the data itself, are sent back to be aggregated with other users' improvements. This creates a collectively smarter AI without centralized data collection. Federated learning delivers the best of both worlds: personalized recommendations based on individual behavior patterns without compromising privacy. Each user's data stays on their device, yet the system learns from everyone. It's like having a private tutor who gets smarter from teaching others. You have reached the end of our first question set. For the free complete exam preparation, visit our website link in the description, where you find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. Thanks for studying with us today. See you in the next video.